What's up, friends? And Danny here, back with another episode of the Daily Grind. You already know I'm pouring you up a nice hot cup of joe. We're going to get that day off to a bright and beautiful start. Let's check in and get today's messages. I will say there's an overarching energy that has to do with this making or breaking, and it feels like it's relative to trust. This could be trusting spirit. I am getting the energy of like a warning where someone's being shown signs that's like, I'm trying to get your attention and show you to trust, but it feels like make or break of a situation or circumstance. So it could certainly be like, I have to say, I kind of feel like both. This is not necessarily, take karma as you will. Is it just simply class? You're enrolled in session, you're learning the lessons, or is this, actually payback, and I think when we start to see karma more as school, as lessons, there's some things that I don't remember, or perhaps even comprehend. Unless it's like a punishment, then we'll see the benefit and we'll see it less as separation from God and more as spirit allowing our human nature to be impacted to the degree that it gives comprehension. Okay. So take that however it is that you will, however it resonates. First card out is practice, okay? And look what's at the bottom of the deck. The trust card, okay? So like I said, it feels as though for some of you, this is spirit saying trust your practice, right? Trust the things that I've taught you, trust the things that you've learned. And there can be an element too of like practice what you preach based on the things that you now understand. What is it that you need to put into practice or to demonstrate? And the spirit is telling you based on that understanding, now this is the next steps. Then I ain't gonna lie, I'm kind of getting like, I'm just suggesting, or spirit is, telling you to just trust that that's the next step that you need to take. Okay. So I feel like this is for your protection, for your security is what it is. And spirit, I don't know why I kind of get, there could be something at play today where spirit is like, yeah, I just heard, I will never leave you nor forsake you. So some of you, this is just, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 on the clock. Spirit is saying this is just what's next. And I need you to be secure. The next card out is wonderment. You guys know this has to do with, I just heard the power of you. It is like your superpower or your power, supernatural abilities, superior to your human nature when you connect with God, right? It's ether. So I feel perhaps something midday is coming in. It feels like with the top of the day being practice and then midday being wonderment, you could certainly be surprised at kind of like whatever it is that you put into practice, how you could amaze yourself in terms of what you see in terms of outcome. I see compassion here at the bottom of the deck. So some of you, this could be like you're being given grace, or there's grace in the circumstance. Sometimes it's just like, don't take the mercies of God for granted or the grace of God for granted. Um, there could even be like some sort of like understanding that someone else demonstrates, and that could certainly like have you awestruck. That's like, wow, like, but if you think about that, that's always a testament to who you are, to who you've been. Even when other people maybe in some way come through and do the heavy lifting, when they surprise you or they use their ability superior to the natural to be able to keep you in some way, right? Whether this is like keep a promise, maintain solidarity, demonstrate loyalty, trust, or even consistency or diligence in a relationship, right? This is the job, and it could be, maybe they promised a bonus or a certain schedule, but this would be like compassion for like, I know you don't like working mornings or the shift that you're on, just trust me. But this would be like them finding out, oh, yes, I got that shift. Something just opening up and you knowing that that's God, thank you for your grace. I don't know why it's kind of giving like, sometimes especially with the moon phases or the astral cycles, I find myself on different sleep cycles. So sometimes it's stuff like that, right? Like where, spirit is like, give it time, right? It's like up at 8 a.m., right? Maybe you're out like a light. But if you think about, different modes, if you will, that you're in life, sometimes you have to, and some of y'all that's the case, you have to forgive yourself, right? um and this could be like, I need to do better, I know what I need to do, I know how I need to fix this, um I know what I'm capable of. But what feels like forgive yourself? And for some of you, you could be forgiving someone else. There could also be some element of like someone else forgiving you. I don't necessarily see cards for forgiveness, but it kind of feels like there could be something around like, sometimes we beat ourselves up or we give ourselves a hard time, because I didn't do this, or I know what I'm supposed to do, but um, whatever the situation is, it feels as though um, you're forgiving yourself for, again, and this could be like, oh, I don't know why I'm kind of getting the energy of like I meant to do this or that, right? You or someone else, but that's why there's trust here. So someone's trusting, like if my intentions were good, or if I know what I meant to do, or I'm perhaps meant to say, um, then it feels as though midday that's shining through in some way or another. Okay. We're going to continue and get some animal cards to get some additional clarity. Thank you guys for hitting that like button on the video. Make sure that you are subscribed to this channel. And of course, we love to have you on Patreon, linked below. Patreon and YouTube, Spotify, whatever floats your boat. Okay. Yeah, yeah, she's in love with who I am. Shout out to the boys. Okay, all right. So this practice could be expressing, it could be speaking, a little rusty. Hey, something significant about the name Rusty came up for me in meditation last night. Something significant about that name. But a little rusty. Somebody's a little rusty. And I'm not sure. It could be like speaking about something that they want to say, something they need to say. I can't lie. It kind of gives like, this could be like saying sorry. Maybe somebody struggles to say sorry. I also feel like it could be like memory. Yeah, I just heard it's all coming back to me now. Right? Maybe Celine Dion is significant. But this could even, I'm also getting, for some of you, this has to do with like ancestors. So it could be like that. And I don't know, I do feel a little bit of new energy. So some of you, I don't know if you beating yourself up or somebody else up, but I feel a sense of like somebody is completely new. If you brand spanking new, why are you giving yourself a hard time? This is like let yourself practice. So I don't know if somebody's on a job, if this is something new that you're doing in your life. I feel though, let me just say this because this could resonate more deeply for some of you, but I feel like for some of you, if there is something new that you're trying, there is an ancestral connection to that. And usually that would indicate that you have a memory. This is the thing, we don't know what's passed down in our DNA, right? It's essentially, in my opinion, like a floppy drive, right? A floppy disk, a USB. It's a space saver, it's the cloud. But if you think about your DNA like that, if it holds all the genetic memories, and not just of your genes, but every memory that has ever been had by anyone who's had those genes and passed down that hard drive, this is like we giving you the disk, then some of you don't even realize you have, I just heard archive files. And so the reason that you could be inclined or prone to give yourself a hard time, perhaps even be scrutinizing in others with others, is because I feel this energy energy of like you may have some sort of history of being an authority in a certain area or space. So that can make you overly critical if historically you have had oversight in that particular area. There could also be this element, and when I say that, I don't get like overly critical. I mean, like, never stop critiquing, right? If you think like self improvement is a beautiful thing, but if we're not willing to stop critiquing and accept our work as being, a viable finished product, then we will pick it apart until there's nothing left to pick apart. And essentially, that's indicating like until we've destroyed it. So I feel like some of you, that's where the forgiveness is. You may give yourself a hard time. Maybe it's wanting excellence, wanting perfection, but you could very well be in a position where Spirit is saying, trust. You don't have to be perfect. Just take the steps. Forgive yourself and see what you're capable of doing, what your power can do. Because I can't lie, for some of you, that could be the practice is it could certainly shout out to Miss Princess. Thank you. Y'all just been blessing me in so many ways. And I just wanted to say thank you to all of you. But Miss Princess, this reminds me of a conversation that we had the other day when we were talking about benevolent ancestors. But for some of you, that could certainly be the practice, whether it's having conversations. And, the more I learn about like spirituality and like mirror work, right? Some of you, this is an element of that. When I think about mirror work, it is facing oneself in the mirror. That can, yes, be physically. That can also be a good look at the self, right? Which, speaking of overly critical, would make sense. And sometimes we are not used to, this could be like self-speak. But sometimes we don't look at that as kind of like ancestral connection when we're cultivating or practicing or developing or establishing a connection of self-dialogue. And when I say that, essentially, I'm making a reference to tapping into what could be like those files, if you will, right? Those um, ancestor files, okay? History, the files surrounding history, okay? So there's some sort of communication of some sort at the top of the day. Um, And this is, again, someone's practicing what feels like using their voice or expressing themselves, but may have some difficulty finding the words to say, knowing what to say or how to say it because of whatever this newness is. This could even be like sending an order or a command, but someone could be new to sending a certain directive or establishing a certain order, calling a certain shot. So in that regard, it could be practice. It could also be like, what have you learned, right? Use your voice. There is something significant about that because that came up in meditation for me. Someone who is very capable of doing something. I was picking up an energy. I don't know if someone offered to do something, but this is something that I feel like someone offered to do. And I definitely feel like the capability is there. And something about today, it feels like it's trusting to simply do it. So some of you, this could certainly be you as well. A very strong energy of someone being very drawn or attracted, but what feels like very confident in one's capabilities or ability to perform in one regard or another, some regard or another. Okay. But this could be where this communication is coming through. Sometimes this is also, remember when we're talking about air, because that's what's at the top of the day, air energy is not just talking. So this could be listening, and someone could be, this could be new, right? Whether it's, I don't know why I want to say hearing voices, right? I hope you're not hearing voices. But if you think about it, right, sometimes it's like, oh, I'm new to this, I don't normally sing, but it could be like someone is in a position where it's like, oh, I got to sing, so I need to practice singing. I need to do this, so I need to practice doing it. There's something too that could be around like, I've never heard of this. This is foreign to me. So it could be listening or learning, right? I told you guys just learning foreign language sometimes can seem somewhat foreign. And so it could be like not used to listening to things in this particular language, but I'm going to give it a whirl, give it a try. Well, what that leads to midday, and I know this is a little bit longer, but I'm going to try and cut it as quickly as I can. But the raccoon comes in midday, earth energy. So we turn air, which is communication or commands. I've listened or I have actually communicated. And on the other side of whatever that listening or that practicing of some mode of communication, giving or receiving, then midday it feels like is the wonderment where earth energy, there it feels like is application or use, some sort of talent. I don't know why it's giving like amazing talent, turns out to be some sort of resource, okay? Someone, it's almost like the ability is, I don't know why I'm kind of getting like put to use or put to work. This feels, this is usually an energy of like hidden talents. So some sort of superpower or hidden ability that someone has, could be materializing something. But it feels as though it's turning into matter. It's transforming into matter. So we have air transforming into matter, but that process deals in some sort of what feels like super ability. Okay. Whether you have it or someone else. Last card out, end of the day, water, divine flow, compassion. I don't know why it feels like honoring the flow. For some of you, this could certainly be someone honoring your flow with the bear here, earth energy. That speaks to emergence, usually spring energy after hibernation. And this is why I feel like for some of you, there could certainly be a connection to your sleep phases or cycles. So when I speak to hibernation, you could have been in a season or space of rest, and based on some of the things that have been transitioning, you could certainly be emerging or coming out. Sometimes this is rest in a certain place. Remember, I talked about some of those ancestral, historical, or genetic traits that you have within you, right, on your hard drive. Well, sometimes you maybe don't even trust that you have that ability or that you're capable, and you could certainly be in a position where the timing wasn't right, right? Sorry if that, I hope that didn't block the mic. The timing wasn't right, where maybe spirit had you in a season of practice, of learning, of acquiring information, again going through the steps, the process of educating oneself. And you could certainly be in a position where now that you've gone through whatever that process is, that bear is indicating now with divine flow. For some of you, this can indicate business coming to you. This can indicate opportunities. It could be financial flow. It could be work opportunities, clients, things of that nature that are coming to you, because now there's trust, now there's solidarity, now there's opportunity to emerge, because what feels like something about your talents matched or paired up with your intentions, are what I feel like I just heard you can bank on. And I also heard bank on, I also heard believe in. And for some of you, this is gaining you the trust, the solidarity, or partnership, or another. And something about that relationship could certainly be believing in your flow. Like I said, I feel like something's coming your way, guys. That's enough for today's messages. I love you. Like, follow, subscribe. Make sure that you guys join this link below on Patreon so that you can get the extended messages as well. We'll talk again soon. Bye for now.